Well, good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us for British Speedway Quiz Night number 6. Of course, we hope you're all continuing to keep safe and well. Regular viewers and players of the British Speedway Quiz Nights will know that we spend these first few moments just allowing as many people to join the quiz live as is possible. And if you are playing for the first time, then we aim to get round number 1 underway in around about 4 or 5 minutes time. So let me just tell you about a few things happening at the moment. All the latest news, of course, and breaking developments can be found on our official website, which is speedwaygb.co.uk. There's also plenty of things on there which can help you pass some time. And if you are in need of your Speedway fix, then we do have a designated page on our home screen where clubs notify us of old meetings they're going to be showing on their social media channels or websites, and we do update that on a regular basis. So do keep checking our speedwaygb.co.uk website. On social media, you can follow us on Twitter at SpeedwayGB, and on Facebook you can search SpeedwayGB and give us a like on there. On Instagram, we are at Official British Speedway, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. That is Speedway Great Britain. Now, obviously, it's a bank holiday weekend, and obviously we are quite restricted to what we can do. One thing you can do, though, is watch some action, like I say. And for this week's Monday night Speedway broadcast to make sense and to give it extra context, we do strongly advise that you watch the meeting stream on Eastbourne's website tomorrow. That's Saturday, May the 23rd, and it's a 2019 Knockout Cup fixture between the Eastbourne Eagles and the Leicester Lions. Now, the Eagles are going to be showing the first leg on their website tomorrow from 7:30. That's eastbourne-speedway.com, and that will set things nicely indeed for our Monday night Speedway broadcast, which is going to be the second leg of that tie between the Lions and the Eagles from the Paul Chapman and Sons Arena. Now, as I said on this week's broadcast, we have seen some classic contests in the Knockout Cup down the years, and this really is another fascinating two-legged affair as well. So do join me 7:30 on Monday for the second and deciding leg, but like I say, we do strongly advise that you watch the first leg tomorrow evening on Eastbourne's website. So back to a British Speedway Quiz Night number 6 then. And like I say, the majority of you will know how this works by now. 40 questions split into 3 rounds. We start with our bumper opening round, round number 1, which is our pick and mix round. 20 questions in that one. Then we then take a short break and we return to complete the quiz with 2 themed rounds. Now I can tell you that this week, round number 2 is called Picture This. And then our final round this week is called One After Another. So don't forget, traditional way is the most preferred way, pen and paper. Play amongst yourselves in your individual households. I know plenty of you go on Facebook Messenger, Zoom, or various group apps to compete against friends and family as well. There are some of you who do like typing your answers in on our Facebook live video or YouTube video as well. That's absolutely fine. But like I say, if you are playing with pen and paper, turn the comments off on Facebook or do enter full screen mode on YouTube and they should automatically disappear. So I think we are just about ready to go. Don't forget, we will be taking a break between rounds 1 and 2 to view a few races, and then after round 3 we'll view some more races, about a 5-minute break or so, and then we'll come back and run through all 40 answers as well. We give you 15 seconds to answer each question, as you'll be aware now, regular viewers. But like I say, do make a quick note of any that you can't answer at the time, and you will have an opportunity to fill in those gaps a little later on. So I think that is everything set, and I feel we are ready to go. So let's get British Speedway Quiz Night number 6 underway. Round number 1 then, and regular players of the British Speedway Quiz Night will know that this is our pick and mix bumper opening round. 20 questions as we say, and hopefully we are getting off to a nice easy start with question number 1. Bomber is a nickname most commonly associated with which modern day rider? So Bomber is a nickname most commonly associated with which modern day rider? Question 2. Set race nights were introduced into Britain's top 2 leagues in which season? So set race nights were introduced into Britain's top 2 leagues in which season? Question 3. This is the top part of which club's current crest logo? So this is the top part of which club's current crest logo? Question number 4. Which rider was in the news this week after speaking about his lockdown job working for Amazon? So which rider was in the news this week after speaking about his lockdown job working for Amazon? Question 5. What colour helmet lends its name to one of Redcar's popular individual meetings? So what colour helmet lends its name to one of Redcar's popular individual meetings? Question number 6. Which club race their home fixtures at the Coliseum? So which club race their home fixtures at the Coliseum? First multiple choice question of this week's quiz, and last week we asked you about Newcastle newcomer Nick Scourger. This week it's the turn of another new face for the Diamonds. Question number 7. In which country was Newcastle's Andrei Smetana born? So in which country was Newcastle's Andrei Smetana born? Was it A, the Czech Republic, B, Russia, C, Slovenia, or D, Switzerland? Question 8. Nico Cavati signed for which championship club in 2020? Nico Cavati signed for which championship club in 2020? Multiple choice again for question number 9, and a 50-50 chance this time of getting this one right. Who won more races for Swindon during their regular Premiership fixtures in 2019? So who won more races for Swindon during their regular Premiership fixtures in 2019? Was it A, Troy Batchelor, or B, Jason Doyle? Question 10. In which year was Kyle Howarth British Under-21 champion? So in which year was Kyle Howarth British Under-21 champion? More multiple choice coming your way for question number 11. Who was the first Rye House rider to win a Premiership heat at Hoddesdon? So who was the first Rye House rider to win a Premiership heat at Hoddesdon? Was it A, Edward Kennett, B, Stuart Robson, C, Robert Branford, or D, Ellis Perks? Question number 12. Which rider returned to British Speedway with Wolverhampton in 2017 after 2.5 seasons away? So which rider returned to British Speedway with Wolverhampton in 2017 after 2.5 seasons away? Question 13. Can you name the two brothers who own Glasgow Speedway? So can you name the two brothers who own Glasgow Speedway? More multiple choice for question number 14. The first ever league fixture at the National Speedway Stadium saw Bellevue Colts take on Mildenhall in 2016. But who was the first ever race winner at the brand new circuit? So the first ever league fixture at the National Speedway Stadium saw Bellevue Colts take on Mildenhall in 2016. But who was the first ever race winner at the brand new circuit? Was it A. Dan Bewley, B. Alfie Botel, C. Nathan Greaves, or D. Connor Mountain? Question 15. With which club did Leon Flint score a paid maximum on what was his first ever competitive fixture in team racing? So with which club did Leon Flint score a paid maximum on what was his first ever competitive fixture in team racing? Back to multiple choice for question number 16. Which rider broke the track record at Ipswich's Vauxhall Stadium in September 2019? So which rider broke the track record at Ipswich's Vauxhall Stadium in September 2019? Was it A. Jason Doyle, B. Cameron Heaps, C. Niels Christian Everson, or D. Nikolai Clint? Yet another multiple choice question for you for question 17. Berwick stalwart Kevin Doolan opted out of racing in 2020, but how many successive seasons had he spent with the Bandits? So Berwick stalwart Kevin Doolan opted out of racing in 2020, but how many successive seasons had he spent with the Bandits? Was it A5, B6, C7, or D8? Question 18. Which member of the 2020 Leicester Lion Cubs finished 2019 as part of the senior side's championship title winning team? So which member of the 2020 Leicester Lion Cubs finished 2019 as part of the senior side's championship title winning team? Penultimate question for our opening round number 1. And it's time to put riders in a certain order. So from oldest to youngest, can you put these 4 Eastbourne riders in order of their age? So from oldest to youngest, can you put these 4 Eastbourne riders in order of their age? And we've got A. Edward Kennett, B. Lewis Kerr, C. Richard Lawson, and D. Kyle Newman. Final question then of round number 1, question number 20. Which club has appeared in the second tier end of season playoffs more than any other? So which club has appeared in the second tier end of season playoffs more than any other? Well, regular players will know the drill by now. We're going to take a few moments to refresh and watch a couple of old races. Then we'll be back with tonight's 2 theme rounds.
Ready then for heat number 9. It's Nicol, Harris, Ostergaard and Nichols. The revs rise and heat 9 gets underway. Down to the first and a decent start by Brock Nicol. They've made the gate here. The red car bears are trying to come through. Is Scott Nichols from the outside. He's got past Nicol. Brock Nichol's gone backwards. He's gone from first to last. It's Ostergaard who leads the way. I don't think many were expecting that. Ulrich Ostergaard leads the way. Now, this is a chance for him to improve this evening. Scott Nichols in second. Chris Harris in third. It was all change out of turn 2 for the first time. Brock Nicol made the starts for the third time this evening, but this time he went backwards. Now, can Ulrich Ostergaard defend the lead? Up the inside goes Scott Nichols in yellow. They clash together there. I think he just clipped Ostergaard's front wheel, but Ostergaard has saved it and he saved the lead. Good racing here in heat 9. Nichols all over the Dane. Third place is Bomber Harris trying to come through. Now Harris to the inside, Nichols on the outside, and they've gone either side of Ulrich Ostergaard. Goodness gracious me. How did they find the room there into turn 1? Leicester were on the wrong end of a 5-1 on the first turn, and they're going to take a 5-1, it looks like, here in this heat number 9. What an extraordinary race. The winner's gone to Scott Nichols, Chris Harris second, and I think Brock Nichols snatched third because Ostergaard lifted off on the run to the line.
Takes fly on, heat 10, away they go. From start from the inside from Josh Kajonek, gets to the first corner. Jagger's already swung it out wide. Steve Worrell into second. Worrell trying to hunt down Josh Kajonek. Kajonek making it count from the inside. Jagger's found himself at the back as he's headed by Dimitri Berger. And Berger now having a good look on the inside of Steve Worrell. Worrell trying to respond, but the Frenchman taking it up in second spot. Strong ride from him. Steve Worrell now changing his attack down low, trying to throw it back through his inside. Berger, if anything, has got his sights on Josh Kajonek. Unfortunately for Matty Jagger, he's come to a stop. And Steve Worrell now trying to get back on terms with Berger. Berger, meantime, looking for a way around the outside of Kajonek. Very competitive action here. And here comes Steve Worrell all the way from third to first. Stunning ride for the Aces captain. And now Kajonek trying to respond, trying to salvage second spot on Berger. The racing really livening up here at the National Speedway Stadium. There's absolutely nothing between Kajonek and Berger there. Into the top corner. Worrell will take the victory. Strong ride for the Frenchman. Thrilling action. Heat number 10. Fabulous race.
So back quizzing we go with our 2 themed rounds, starting of course with round number 2, and this week it's called Picture This. So this week we thought we'd give you an entire round of visual aid and use images to try and help you add some points to your overall total. Hopefully they'll trigger something in your mind at least. We've taken your feedback on board and we've made the images as large as we can, still allowing for the question to appear on screen as well as the countdown clock in the bottom corner. So let's get tonight's first themed round underway with question number 1. And hopefully a nice easy one to start things off for this round. Who is the rider nearest the camera in the white helmet colour? So who is the rider nearest the camera in the white helmet colour? Question 2. How many times has this man been crowned British champion? So how many times has this man been crowned British champion? Question 3. Can you name this long-serving British Speedway servant pictured here in 2016? So can you name this long-serving British Speedway servant pictured here in 2016? Question number 4. Can you name this rider pictured in his debut British Speedway season with Scunthorpe? So can you name this rider pictured in his debut British Speedway season with Scunthorpe? Question number 5. Who is this pictured in 2016? So who is this pictured in 2016? Question number 6. Can you name this German international? So can you name this German international? Question number 7. Who is pictured here alongside Chris Harris? So who is pictured here alongside Chris Harris? Now you all know these 3 faces, and if you can't quite recognise them, then it's Craig Cook, Charles Wright and Nick Morris. But for this one, we want to know which National League club did this trio ride for in 2010. So question number 8, which National League club did this trio ride for in 2010? Now I'm guessing you'll all recognise that this is Steve Worrell and Robert Lambert pictured here. But for question number 9, in which 2 years did this duo race together at Newcastle? So in which 2 years did this duo race together at Newcastle? And our last question of this picture this round, question number 10. Can you name this Polish rider who appeared with Bellevue in the Premiership in 2018? So can you name this Polish rider who appeared with Bellevue in the Premiership in 2018? And a big thanks to our British Speedway photographers as well for supplying images to our press office, which we used in that theme round there. On to round number 3, our second theme round and our final round of British Speedway Quiz Night number 6, and this week it's called One After Another. Well, last week we saw a lot of you enjoyed our number 1 theme round, so we've decided to bring it back for a second week running, but with a slight twist. On your screen you're going to see a club crest and some years. Above the years shown will be the rider that started that specific season at number 1 with that club or a question mark. What we want you to do this week is fill in the missing rider. So essentially, who started the year in question as that club's number 1. And because we're feeling ultra generous once again this week, we'll be giving you multiple choice options for each question as well. And I can tell you that this week we're going to stick with top flight clubs from over the past decade or so. So essentially looking for the number 1 who started that season with a specific club. Hopefully it all makes sense. If you're not quite with me, hopefully all will become apparent as we get started with question number 1. So we'll start with Wolverhampton. Freddie Lindgren again led the defending champions throughout 2017 before fellow Swede Jakob Torshäll took over the number 1 race jacket in 2018. But who started last season as Wolves' number 1? Is it A. Sam Masters, B. Scott Nichols, C. Rory Schlein, or D. Jakob Torschel? Moving on to question number 2. This time we're focusing on Bellevue, and Max Frick began the 2017 and 2019 campaigns as the club's number 1, but who started in that position for the Aces in 2018? Was it A. Kenneth Bier, B. Craig Cook, C. Max Frick, or D. Steve Worrell? So moving on to the next sequence in this round, and Brady Kurtz and Jack Holder were Pool's chosen number 1s in 2018 and 2019 respectively, but who was the first rider to have the number 1 race jacket for the Pirates in 2017? Your options: A. Hans Andersen, B. Chris Holder, C. Christoph Kasprzak, or D. Brady Kurtz? So the club is Kings Lynn for question number 4, and we've told you that Niels Christian Iversen was their number 1 in 2018 and Robert Lambert in 2019. But who was the number 1 star at the beginning of 2017? Was it A. Troy Batchelor, B. Chris Holder, C. Niels Christian Iversen, or D. Robert Lambert? So for question number 5, and now it's the turn of Leicester, and Sebastian Ulemek was the Lions number 1 at the front end of 2016, with Martin Vashalik a big winter signing ahead of the 2018 season. But in between that, who was their starting number 1 in 2017? Was it A. Hans Andersen, B. Danny King, C. Kim Nielsen, or D. Sebastian Ulemek? So just the 2 years to focus on for question number 6, and it was Jason Doyle who was Somerset's number 1 in their last season in the Premiership in 2018. But who did the Rebels sign as their number 1 for their first season in the top flight the previous season? Was it A. Jason Doyle, B. Josh Groshonek, C. Patrick Hugard, or D. Rowan Tungate? For the Swindon Robins next up, and Peter Kilderman started 2014 as their number 1, with Jason Doyle leading their side in 2016. But who started the 2015 campaign as number 1 at the Abbey? Was it A. Troy Batchelor, B. Peter Kilderman, C. Adrian Mazinski, or D. Nick Morris? So we'll stick to the same 3 years for this next one, and for this one we've got the Lakeside Hammers. As you'll see on screen, it was Peter Carlson who was their number 1 in 2014, and Andreas Jonsson who led them in their final top flight campaign. But who started their penultimate season in the Elite League as number 1? Was it A. Lewis Bridger, B. Andreas Jonsson, C. Peter Carlson, or D. Davey Watt? Penultimate one of tonight's quiz then, and on to Eastbourne we go. And Eunice Kilmacorpy started 2012 at number 1, with Bjarne Pedersen in that position in 2013. But who started as the Eagles top rider in the final season in the top flight? Was it A. Eunice Kilmacorpy, B. Bjarne Pedersen, C. Adam Shields, or D. Cameron Woodward? And the final sequence of tonight's final theme round, and of course the last question of British Speedway Quiz Night number 6. We'll tell you that Christoph Kasperzak was Coventry's number 1 in 2013 and that Hans Andersen led the Bees at the beginning of 2014. But prior to that, who started the 2012 campaign at number 1? Was it A. Chris Harris, B. Edward Kennett, C. Scott Nichols, or D. Przemysław Pawlicki? So another 40 questions have been fired your way, and hopefully you have got 40 answers written down. Perhaps you have got 1 or 2 gaps where you did make a couple of notes for questions you weren't quite sure of the answer of along the way. That's absolutely fine. We're going to give you a few moments now to fill in those blanks, and we are going to dip into the British Speedway video archive, and we'll be back in around about 5 minutes or so to run through tonight's answers.
So John Harvey happy with them, he walks away. Pace fly where they go. So start from the Lions duo as Jepsen goes skywards away from the line. Here comes Bradley Wilson D though around the outside of James Sargent. He's awfully tight there off the second corner. Newman and that shows Wilson Dean into second. Jepsen's going through on the inside hard on the inside of his team partner, going all the way across the circuit. And does that allow James Sargent back into the race? Yes, it does. So Sargent back into third spot. Competitive action here in the reserves race. And the Somerset new boy, Jonas Jeppesen, trying to hunt down James Sargent. But out front and looking good is Kyle Newman. This is where the race is, as the Danes challenge now seems to have faded. As we'll concentrate back up front between Kyle Newman and Bradley Wilson Dean. So Newman with a 5 metre advantage over the New Zealander Wilson Dean. And Bradley Wilson Dean looks to have a good line here. Not too much between them with that to go. Wilson Dean trying to surge his way through on the inside of Newman. Some really competitive action, and Wilson Dean's worked his way to the front. Battling right from him. What could Kyle Newman do on the last corner? They tear into it, but Wilson Dean, it's been a final ride. He takes the checker flag of victory. So Bradley Wilson Dean wins it from Kyle Newman. James Sargent comes home for third. And Wilson Dean is delighted with that. So they are finally ready. Heat number 6, the starting marshal walks away. Takes fly where they go. Fast start from the man in the white cover colour, Ulrich Ostergaard. Determined first corner from Carl Howarth, trying to force the Dane wide. Ostergaard won't be denied, and he takes it up. Ulrich Ostergaard for the Peterborough Panthers looking good. It's Todd Kurtz slossing through into second. Howarth once again trying to go the long way around the outside of the team partner. Tom Bacon at the back. So Ulrich Ostergaard, his way to 2 out of 2. Todd Kurtz chasing hard. Peterborough certainly been very good so far tonight. Todd Kurtz trying to hunt down the vastly experienced Ulrich Ostergaard here. Heading into the pits corner for the third time. Kurtz takes a few yards off Ostergaard there. There's very little between them here. I'm not sure Ostergaard's motor is beating sweetly as Todd Kurtz is trying to find his way through, and here he comes. Kurtz storms his way through on the inside of Ulrich Ostergaard. Can the Dane respond as they tear off the final corner? Kurtz, great win from him. Ulrich Ostergaard comes home for second. And I think he's going to come to a halt. He's got a puncture. Starting Marshall happy with the 4 riders. He walks away. Takes fly where they go. Fast start for Ricky Wells. He gets to the first corner ahead of Jakob Thorshell, but swings wide there, and the Wolverhampton man will try to come through. Nothing between them into the park corner. Wells it is that shows for the Lions. Jakob Thorshell down low. It's Hans Andersen in third. Absolutely nothing between the front two. Ashley Morris sniffing around the back here of Hans Anderson as well. But a fine race out front between Ricky Wells and Jakob Thorshell. Thorshell unbeaten after 2 outings, but here he comes through on the inside of that Ricky Wells. Storms his way through on the inside of the former Wolverhampton man. Wells though will respond on one wheel into the park corner. Absolutely thrilling and racing here in heat 11. A lap to go as Thorshell swings wide. Wells back through on his inside. Wolverhampton fans roar on their super Swede Jakob Thorshell. It's been a brilliant ride from him. One final challenge from Ricky Wells, but Thorshell will hang on. Brilliant race there in heat number 11. Thorshell and Wells going all at it for all 4 laps. And it was the Wolverhampton man who remains unbeaten here this evening.
Right, let's do this then. Get those ears and markers at the ready. It's time to tot up your totals for British Speedway Quiz Night number 6. Starting as ever then with our bumper opening round, and question number 1. Bomber is a nickname most commonly associated with which modern day rider? Of course, the answer is Chris Harris. Well, regular players of the British Speedway Quiz Nights know we like to ease you in, and I would hope almost every single one of you are up and running with a point from tonight's opening question. Question number 2. Set race nights were introduced into Britain's top 2 leagues in which season? 2018. Well, the move was agreed in the 2017 winter AGM to cut fixture clashes between Premiership and Championship sides, and was introduced the following year. Question number 3. This is the top part of which club's current crest logo? Correct answer is the Isle of Wight. Well, the club was rebranded as the Warriors upon their return to the sport in 2016, and as we said, this is their current logo. Question number 4. Which rider was in the news this week after speaking about his lockdown job working for Amazon? Correct answer is Ricky Wells. Well, yes, it was the former American international and Glasgow newcomer who seek temporary alternative employment at one of the warehouses of the online giants. Question number 5. What colour helmet lends its name to one of Redcar's popular individual meetings? Silver is the answer we were looking for. Towards the end of the season, most commonly right at the end, the Bears staged the Teesside silver helmet at the Media Prima Arena. On to question number 6. Which club raced their home fixtures at the Coliseum? Correct answer is Plymouth. Well, yes, in one of our previous instalments of the British Speedway Quiz Night, we mentioned the rebranding that went on at Plymouth. Not only did that include a change of nickname and racing colours, but also a stadium name change, as well as the St Boniface Arena became the Plymouth Coliseum. First multiple choice question of the quiz was question number 7. In which country was Newcastle's Andrei Smetana born? Was it A, the Czech Republic, B, Russia, C, Slovenia, or D, Switzerland? Correct answer was option A, the Czech Republic. And yes, the wait goes on for the 25-year-old Czech ahead of his British Speedway debut. And option A, the Czech Republic, was the answer for question number 7. Straight on to question number 8. And Nico Cavati signed for which championship club in 2020? The correct answer is Kent. Well, some of you may have put Poole as your answer for that one, following their decision to move into the championship, but it was with second-tier newcomers Kent the Italian signed for. 50-50 chance of you getting question number 9 right. Who won more races for Swindon during their regular Premiership fixtures in 2019? Was it A, Troy Batchelor, or B, Jason Doyle? I can tell you it was option A, Troy Batchelor. Well, Batchelor just about scraped that one, winning 4 more races than his Australian compatriot, with Batchelor taking the checkered flag on 57 occasions and Doyle 53. Question 10. In which year was Kyle Howarth British Under-21 champion? 2015. Well, yes, the current Sheffield and Leicester racer dropped just 1 point in his qualifying rides before getting the better of the previously unbeaten Robert Lambert in the all-important final at Coventry's Brandon Stadium. Question number 11. Who was the first Rye House rider to win a Premiership heat at Hoddesdon? Was it A, Edward Kennett, B, Stuart Robson, C, Robert Branford, or D, Ellis Perks? Correct answer was option C, Robert Branford. Well, we've told you week on week now that there are extra benefits to watching our Monday night Speedway broadcasts via our social media channels. And this week saw Rye House take on Wolverhampton following their step up to the Premiership. The Rockets conceded a 5-1 in Heat 1, but hit back with a maximum of their own in Heat 2, with Robert Branford taking the checkered flag. Question number 12. Which rider returned to British Speedway with Wolverhampton in 2017 after 2.5 seasons away? The answer, Adam Szkornicki. Well, again, if you tuned into Monday Night Speedway broadcast, you will have clocked the return of the 2008 Polish champion as he headed back to the club where it all started for him in the UK. Question 13. Can you name the two brothers who own Glasgow Speedway? Jerry and Michael Faseno. Well, the brothers took over the Tigers in 2015 and have certainly made plenty of improvements at Ashfield since arriving. In the meantime, they continue to dream of bringing another league title back to the club. Question 14. The first ever league fixture at the National Speedway Stadium saw Bellevue Colts take on Mildenhall in 2016, but who was the first ever race winner at the brand new circuit? Options we gave you were A. Dan Bewley, B. Alfie Botel, C. Nathan Greaves and D. Connor Mountain. And the correct answer was option C, Nathan Greaves. Well, all four of those riders did feature in that National League fixture, with Dan Bewley introducing himself in stunning style as he sealed an 18-point maximum. But that was his first season in the sport and meant he was at reserve for this one. So it was Colts guest Nathan Greaves who took the checkered flag as he replaced the absent Matt Williamson. Question 15. With which club did Leon Flint score a paid maximum on what was his first ever competitive fixture in team racing? Correct answer is Birmingham. Well, yes, the British Talent scored 13 plus 2 as the Brummies beat Stoke 57-33 at Luma Road in the National Trophy in April 2018. Question 16. Which rider broke the track record at Ipswich's Vauxhall Stadium in September 2019? Was it A. Jason Doyle, B. Cameron Heaps, C. Niels Christian Everson or D. Nikolai Klint? Again, option C, Niels Christian Everson. Well, the late season signing for the Witches set a new time of 55.4 in the club's final regular fixture against Swindon on September the 5th. More multiple choice for question 17, and Berwick stalwart Kevin Doolan opted out of racing in 2020, but how many successive seasons had he spent with the Bandits? Was it A5, B6, C7 or D8? Correct answer was option B, 6. Well, Doolan initially had a spell with the Bandits back in 2002 before rejoining the club from Leicester in 2014. Question 18. Which member of the 2020 Leicester Lion Cubs finished 2019 as part of the senior side's championship title winning team? Correct answer, Joe Lawler. Well, Lawler joined the Lions partway through last season and has made the switch to Beaumont Park at National League level following the closure of Stoke. Question 19, and it was the only time you had to do this in British Speedway Quiz Night number 6, putting riders in a certain order, and we wanted you from oldest to youngest to put the 4 Eastbourne riders in order of their age. A was Edward Kennett, B Lewis Kerr, C Richard Lawson and D Kyle Newman. And from oldest to youngest, the correct order we were looking for was C, A, B, D. So C, A, B, D, Richard Lawson, Edward Kennett, Lewis Kerr and Kyle Newman. Richard Lawson was born on February the 14th, 1986, making him 34. Edward Kennett was also born in 1986, but on August the 28th, so he's currently 33. Lewis Kerr was born on March the 25th, 1990, making him 30, while Carl Newman is the youngest of those 4, as he was born on December the 14th, 1991, making him 28. And the final question of our bumper opening round. Which club has appeared in the second tier end of season playoffs more than any other? So certainly a testing your brain and memory this one was. And you'll have had to have done a bit of jotting down or total guesswork, I would imagine. And the correct answer we were looking for was Edinburgh. Well, the Monarchs have qualified on 9 different occasions, with 2011 the only time they missed out between 2008 and 2017. And I have no doubts that some of you will have put Somerset as your answer for that one, but they've made one less appearance than Edinburgh with 8. Moving straight on to our first theme round, round number 2, and this week it was called Picture This. We were trying to give you some visual aid and use images to try and help you add some points to your overall total. So let's see how you got off in this one. Hopefully it was a nice easy start with picture and question number 1. We asked you, who is the rider nearest the camera in the white helmet colour? Correct answer is Ty Woofenden. Well, hopefully many of you got that one. Maybe you recognise the style, or maybe you just took a guess because of the logos on his bike and race suit. Either way, Ty Woofenden was the answer to question number 1. Question 2, how many times has this man been crowned British champion? Correct answer was 7. Well, I would like to think all of you knew that this was British Speedway legend Scott Nicholls, and I'm sure a good number of you were aware he has won 7 British national titles. Question 3, can you name this long-serving British Speedway servant pictured here in 2016? It's John Armstrong. Well, Armstrong enjoyed a long-serving career, starting with Bellevue in 1992, and he finally hung up his goggles 25 years later. A terrific servant John Armstrong was, as we say. Question number 4. Can you name this rider pictured in his debut British Speedway season with Scunthorpe? Correct answer, Nicky Luna. Well, the Finn has always had a good head of hair on him, as you can see, and this was him with the Scorpions in 2015, and he last appeared in the UK in 2018 with Peterborough and Redcar. Question 5, who is this pictured in 2016? Correct answer, Danny King. Well, these pictures were taken following King's maiden British Championship triumph 4 years ago, after he also successfully secured his place in that season's British Speedway Grand Prix at Cardiff. Question number 6, can you name this German international? The correct answer, Kai Hülkenberg. Well, it's been a couple of years since the 2-time German champion raced for King's Lynn in British Speedway, and some of you may remember his face from the Speedway of Nations not so long back as well. Question 7, who is pictured here alongside Chris Harris? The correct answer, Billy Gennaro. Well, yes, it was the 11-time American national champion during his Coventry days, and that picture was taken back in 2007. Now, I fully expect you to know all 3 of the faces, but we did tell you just in case that it was Craig Cook, Charles Wright and Nick Morris, and we wanted to know which national club did this trio ride for in 2010. Correct answer, Buxton. Well, yes, Buxton had a good record of developing riders a decade or so ago in particular, and it was the hitmen who Cook, Wright and Morris raced for 10 years ago. Question 9, again, I'm sure you'll have recognised the pair in this picture, Steve Worrell and Robert Lambert, but in which 2 years did this duo race together at Newcastle? Correct answer, 2016 and 2017. Well, yes, the two Brits formed what turned into quite a formidable partnership for the Diamonds, and it's now been 3 years since they both lined up for the club. Finally, for round number 2, question number 10, we wanted to know if you could name the Polish rider who appeared with Bellevue in the Premiership in 2018. Damian Druge was the correct answer. The Pole made 14 appearances for the Aces 2 years ago in what has been his only team spot in British Speedway to date. And once again, a big thanks to all of our British Speedway photographers who supply their images on a regular basis to our press office, and we made good use of them in tonight's first theme round. On to round number 3, our second theme round, and of course our final round of British Speedway Quiz Night number 6. And this one we were going to show you a club crest, some years and riders, and there was a question mark as well. Basically, we wanted you to fill in the gap and tell us who started that specific season as that club's number 1 rider. I do hope it was apparent as we went through them, but let's give you the answers now. First of all then, we started with Wolverhampton, and Freddie Lindgren again led the defending champions throughout 2017 before fellow Swede Jakob Torshäll took over the number 1 race jacket in 2018. But we wanted to know who started last season as Wolves' number 1. The options we gave you were A. Sam Masters, B. Scott Nicholls, C. Rory Schlein and D. Jakob Torshäll. The correct answer was option A, Sam Masters. Well, yes, Torshäll and Rory Schlein had also been in a three-way battle in the averages the previous season, but it was Masters who started the 2019 campaign as Wolves' number one, with Nichols, an early season temporary signing for the injured Torshäll. On to number 2, and this time we were focusing on Bellevue, and Max Frick began the 2017 and 2019 campaigns as the club's number one, but who started in that position for the Aces in 2018? 4 options we gave you: A, Kenneth Bier, B, Craig Cook, C, Max Frick, or D, Steve Worrell. Correct answer was option B, Craig Cook. Well, yes, Craig Cook enjoyed a fine 2017 season at the National Speedway Stadium in particular, and was certainly boosted by winning his first British Championship title as well, and earned the number one spot for the Aces the following year. Moving on to the next sequence, and it was the Poole Pirates for this one. Brady Kurtz and Jack Holder were Poole's chosen number ones in 2018 and 2019 respectively, but who was the first rider to have the number one race jacket for the Pirates in 2017? A, Hans Andersen, B, Chris Holder, C, Christoph Kasperzak, or D, Brady Kurtz? The answer for this one, option C, Christoph Kasperzak. Well, both Kasperzak and Andersen had high starting figures in 2017, but it was the former world number 2 who had the highest starting average of 11.08. On to question number 4 then. And the club was Kings Lynn on this occasion, and we told you that Niels Christian Iversen was their number one in 2018 and Robert Lambert in 2019, but who was the number one star at the beginning of 2017? Was it A, Troy Batchelor, B, Chris Holder, C, Niels Christian Iversen, or D, Robert Lambert? It was option B, Chris Holder. So yes, it was the 2012 World Champion Chris Holder who saw his long stay at Poole come to an end as he began the 2017 campaign as the Kings Lynn Stars number one on a sky-high 12.53 average. It was the turn of Leicester for question number 5, and Sebastian Ulemek was the Lions number one at the front end of 2016, with Martin Vashalik a big winter signing ahead of the 2018 season. But who was their starting number one in between that in 2017? A, Hans Andersen, B, Danny King, C, Kim Nielsen, or D, Sebastian Ulemek? It was option C, Kim Nielsen. Well, Nielsen made the switch to Beaumont Park and started 2017 as their number one with a starting average that was 0.06 higher than Danny King. Question 6, and we had just the 2 years to focus on for this one, and we told you it was Jason Doyle who was Somerset's number one in their last season in the Premiership, but who did the Rebels sign as their number one for their first season in the top flight the previous season? Options we gave you were A, Jason Doyle, B, Josh Grushonik, C, Patrick Hugard, and D, Rowan Tungate. Correct answer was option D, Rowan Tungate. Well, yes, Tungate was one of 5 riders the Rebels stuck with as they moved out to the second tier, and he had the highest average of their septet with a figure of 9.03. Swindon Robins were next up, and Peter Kilderman started 2014 as their number one with Jason Doyle leading their side in 2016. But who started the 2015 campaign as number one at the Abbey? A, Troy Batchelor, B, Peter Kilderman, C, Adrian Mazinski, or D, Nick Morris? It was option C, Adrian Mazinski. Well, a lot of you may have forgotten that the former Grand Prix winner returned for a second stint with Swindon, but he competed in just 2 fixtures for the Robins in 2015 before leaving the club. On to sequence number 8 then, and we stuck with the same 3 years, but this time it was the Lakeside Hammers. And on screen we showed you that Peter Carlson was their number one in 2014 and Andreas Jonsson who led them in the final top flight campaign, but who started their penultimate season in the Elite League as their number one? Was it A, Lewis Bridger, B, Andreas Jonsson, C, Peter Carlson, or D, Davey Watt? It was option B, Andreas Jonsson. Well, out of those 4 options we gave you, Jonsson was actually the only one who started the 2015 season with the Hammers, and that obviously means option B was your answer for that one. On to Eastbourne next, and Eunice Kilmacorpy started 2012 at number one with Bjarni Pedersen in that position in 2013, but who started as the Eagles top rider in their final season in the top flight? A, Eunice Kilmacorpy, B, Bjarni Pedersen, C, Adam Shields, or D, Cameron Woodward? It was, for a second year running, option B, Bjarne Pedersen. Well, 3 of those options all lined up for the Eagles in the Elite League in 2014, but it was Dane Pedersen who held on to his number 1 race jacket. Final question of round number 3, and of course of British Speedway Quiz Night number 6. And we told you that Christoph Kasperzak was Coventry's number 1 in 2013, and that Hans Andersen led the Bees at the beginning of 2014. But prior to that, who started the 2012 campaign at number 1? Was it A, Chris Harris, B, Edward Kennett, C, Scott Nichols, or D, Przemysław Pawlicki? Well, we started tonight's quiz with the answer of Chris Harris, and we are ending tonight's quiz with the answer of Chris Harris. Option A is what we were looking for, and it was certainly tight between Harris, Kennett and Nichols in the starting averages, but it was Chris Harris that led the line for Coventry in 2012. So how many points did you total in British Speedway Quiz Night number 6? Do let us know by commenting underneath this video. Obviously we award 1 point per question, but I know there are a few households who, for the question where you have to put riders in a certain order, for example, do like awarding 1 point per position you got right. So like I say, 40 points up for grabs if you followed our traditional marking scheme of 1 point per question. A huge thanks to everyone for joining us this evening, whether you be a supporter, or we do know that riders, officials and even a couple of referees have been getting involved in recent weeks as well. Like I say, it's all for a bit of fun, no prizes at all, but like I say, it's great to see so many of you enjoying it as well as we continue the wait to get back trackside. It's a great way of getting everyone talking and thinking about the sport we all love for sure. Don't forget, over the next 7 days, do keep up to date with everything on our speedwaygb.co.uk website. Give us a follow on Twitter at SpeedwayGB. On Facebook, you can search SpeedwayGB. On Instagram, Official British Speedway on there. And we have plenty of races via our YouTube channel. Search Speedway Great Britain. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Saturday, 7:30, head to eastbourne-speedway.com. Well, they'll be showing the first leg of the Eastbourne Eagles versus the Leicester Lions of their 2019 Championship Knockout Cup quarter-final. And we strongly urge and advise you to watch that, because that will give you great context for our next Monday night Speedway broadcast, which is this bank holiday Monday at 7:30, where we'll bring you the second leg between the Lions and the Eagles, and it really is one not to be missed, that is for sure. Plenty of drama and plenty of thrilling action along the way. We'll be back with another British Speedway Quiz Night next Friday from 8:30. In the meantime, I think that's all that's left for me to say is keep safe, keep well, be sensible, enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you back very soon.